Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Today, we're playing a little Into the Breach. This is a bit of a surprise, of course. This is well, it's a surprise to me. Because almost every game is a surprise to me. But this is the new hotness right now on Steam. This is from the creators of FTL, which is a pretty popular space strategy type game. And so we've got another, I'm sure you can call it a strategy game, but really I think it's a puzzle game masquerading as a strategy game. The theme is kind of Pacific Rim mixed with Edge of Tomorrow. Basically, you control a few mechs of different types. You have like the punching mechs. You have like artillery mechs. You can have even like jets count as like a mech. All sorts of different stuff. They've got their own abilities and things like that. And you're trying to take on basically this like invasion of giant bugs. And the bugs come in all different varieties, and they all do different types of attacks, melee attacks, range attacks. They'll web you up, they'll buff each other, they'll do all sorts of spit acid, all sorts of shit. And so basically you control 3 mechs at a time. You go into this match. You'll have some objectives you can do, but your main objective is basically survive and prevent the bugs from killing the civilian buildings. And you'll see how we do all that, but if you do fail, as in they destroy like all the buildings, they take down your power grid, blah blah blah, or you all die, you generally send one of your pilots back in time, and they get to try a new timeline, and they get to carry over their XP and their pilot abilities and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I have yet to beat it. I've been playing it pretty much all today and a bunch of yesterday. And so I thought this deserved a video. And so here we are. Alright. So first thing is your time traveler. This is basically your main pilot. He's just one of the 3 pilots that you're going to be controlling. I've found a bunch of them, and so you can pick your last traveler. This is the one from my last game that went back in time because I failed. And so he's at max level. And you can see he gets his mech that he controls gets +1 move and +2 HP. And his mech also gets armored, so he takes 1 less damage from attacks. Some of the other ones, Ralph Carlson, he gets +2 bonus XP per kill. Lily, +3 move on the first turn. Bethany starts every mission with a shield. So on and so forth. They all have their own abilities, special abilities. And then they have the skills, which are usually pretty similar, I think. Usually it's a bonus to move and HP. But we'll just use the guy that I have been, because he's already maxed out, Abe Isamu. And then you get to pick your squad. This is your 3 mechs that you get to roll out with. So the default one is the Rift Walkers. So I guess that's the one I'll be using just to show it off. And so you can see the Rift Walkers get basically this sort of walking Pacific Rim-esque mech. And his weapon is a Titan Fist. It punches the adjacent tile, 2 damage, and it also pushes something on there into an adjacent space. You can see he has 5 health, he has 4 movement, and he is armored because that's the one that Abe Isamu is in. So he gives armor. Then we have a cannon mech, which is basically a tank. He has the Taurus cannon, which fires a projectile. There's no range limit or anything. Like it'll shoot it until it hits something, and it'll do 1 damage and push the target. Pushing is very important in this game, as you will see. He has 3 health, 3 move. Then I have the artillery mech. He's got the Artemis artillery. This will hit a single tile in a straight line for 1 damage, and then any adjacent tiles will get pushed 1. 2 health, 3 move. Okay, so, this is the pretty basic setup. This is what you start with. And by doing achievements, so like here, I drowned 3 enemies in water in a single battle, so I get an achievement. I completed the first corporate island, so that's an achievement. And I still have yet to kill an enemy 5 or more tiles away with a dash punch, because you don't start with a dash punch. Anyways, so when you get these achievement coins and you spend those to unlock new squads, and it's very exciting. You can also create a customized squad, but I haven't actually done that yet. I've just been using the default ones because, I want to just learn about all of them first. So yeah, I've unlocked a few. It's not like, you play through a game and then you get to unlock a new one, and then you play through a game with one and you unlock a new one. It might take a little while. The Rusting Hulks, they do a lot of smoke storms, which is pretty cool, because if you smoke an enemy, they don't get to attack that turn. And they have the passive ability equipped where an enemy that's in a smoke takes damage, which is nice. The Zenith Guard, they're all about shielding and things like that. I wasn't crazy about them, but they're okay. Blitzkrieg, they're all about lightning, although really it's just this guy with the 2 lightning whips, which is, again, very Pacific Rim-esque, if you've seen any of the trailers and stuff for the second one. This guy has like a harpoon gun that can pull enemies towards him and stuff, and this guy throws rocks. So I don't know the whole lightning concept, but I really like these guys. I've been working with them for a little bit, because the lightning whip chains damage through every connected thing, so you can really smoke some shit up. You get an achievement if you do it through 10 tiles, which is pretty crazy. But the hook, it's just weak. Damage is really important, I've found, at least so far. That's been my experience. I mean, I said pushing is important, as you'll see it is, but it's kind of like crowd control compared to killing something, Like, yeah, I could put this guy to sleep, in a fantasy game or something. I could put him to sleep, or I could polymorph him, or you could just fucking kill him. Like, that just solves all the problems if you just kill him. So yeah, the hook thing is a little weak. That's why I wasn't crazy about the Zenith Guard. Because it's just, this guy just doesn't kill anything. This guy can kill stuff, but he takes self-damage every time he hurts somebody. It's just like, Then the Flame Behemoths, I really was not too enamored with these guys. At the start, they're all pretty simple. Like, it just seems kind of underwhelming for a lot of them. As you continue to play throughout a game, and you get side abilities equipped and things like that, and you upgrade, they do get better. But the Flame Behemoths are all about putting things on fire, which does periodic damage. And generally, that's not... Again, you'd rather just have something fucking dead. And so this... I liked the Rift Walkers, because all of them are pretty... They can all do damage. And that's good. So anyways, let's start with the Rift Walkers here. I've only played on normal difficulty. it's kind of like, well, you can play on easy, your score is reduced by 50%. But then it's like, well, if you care about score, then the only mode you get to play on is hard, because that's how you get the highest score. But whatever, I'm a normal game kind of guy, so we'll just do it. Okay, so when you first start up, you only have access to a single island, which is this one. And as you complete this one, you get to move on to another island, and then another island, and then another island. And once you unlock an island, you can start from any single one. And the game scales based on how many islands you've completed. So, like, this one is not... Right now, they are all the same difficulty. But once I complete one, they will all be stepped up in difficulty, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't matter where you start. But I always like starting on this one, so... Okay. So, when you hop in an island, you'll have a choice of 2 or 3 missions. And you can see the bonus objectives that you need to complete. You don't need to complete them, but you probably want to. And with the bonus objectives, you'll see the reward, which is either stars, lightning bolts, or this symbol, which you'll see. So for here, we just have double star or star and a power. So you can see here your power grid. This is reduced every time a powered building is damaged in combat. So whenever they hit like a civilian building, there's a very good chance you'll lose a power. That's bad, because when it hits 0, you lose. Game is over. So that's sort of your main thing, is preventing them from killing civilian buildings, because that's bad. But you can, of course, continue to raise your level of power by doing bonus objectives that give you power, such as this one. And you can also purchase them at the end of an island and stuff like that. So we will do Remembrance Point. The bonus objectives that we have are to take less than 3 grid damage, which means that if we lose 3 points on our power grid, we fail that. If we take 3 points of power grid damage, just start over. And then to protect the emergency batteries. So if we hop in here, all these skyscraper looking apartment whatever things, those are civilian buildings. We're trying to avoid those being damaged. And then this special one here is the emergency batteries. It also contains power, so we don't want it to hit because our power will go down, but if this one is damaged, we also fail that bonus objective. So at the start, you see the starting placement of the bugs and what bugs you'll be going up against at the start. And you have options for where to deploy your units. Now, the basic thing of this game is that you tend to be outnumbered. Not always outnumbered, but you tend to be outnumbered. And so, like I said, every turn is basically a puzzle of where do I move with what mechs and do what attacks on what tiles in order to alleviate as much pain as possible. So, you can see what the bugs are going to do on their turn. Alright? They get to move before you do, but they queue up actions that will activate after your turn. So it's sort of strange because you get to move and then do your actions right away in whatever order you want, but they are split between moving and acting. So we can see that this bug here, this Firefly, is planning to shoot a ranged attack at this building, which, if hit, will likely lose us 2 power, so that is just... we absolutely cannot allow that to happen. This bug, this Leaper, has trapped us in a web, so we cannot move with this unit right now, and he's planning to hit us for 2 damage. And this Hornet is planning to just swipe this building which will lose us 1 power grid. So, here we come to the point of killing enemies and moving enemies. Since you can see trajectories, you can see where ranged attacks are going, where melee attacks are happening. You can see all that information. It's up to you to manipulate them and move them out of the way. So basically, we want this guy to go here, into this tile, because then he'll just attack the air here. They do not, like, redirect their attacks or anything like that. It's all set in stone. So, like, the actions are queued up, and they cannot change them at this point. So, we can easily stop this guy from meleeing us. Okay. So, for the webbing, basically, you have to just be moved. You have to be forcefully moved by an effect, or the enemy that's webbing you has to be forcefully moved in order to break the webbing. You can't move out, but, you know, you can do attacks and stuff and do something about it. So that was the least of our problems. Now we have these two. Now, if you remember, this Taurus cannon does 1 damage and pushes. So we could go here and push this guy so he would attack the air, but that leaves this thing. Now, we can, of course, stand in and block the attack with one of our mechs, which is likely what's going to happen. The artillery mech... it has a push, you know, it has this big push. The problem is we can't push this guy anywhere where it would stop that attack without doing other problems. Because, say we go here, we push him, he'll get pushed into the building, which will do a damage to it, and we'll lose a power. If we move here and do a push here, we damage the building by shooting at it. So that's no good either. If I push him back or forward, the ranged attack is still going to go all the way and hit the building. So it's just no good. So we really have no choice but to step in and just take the hit. But we can do that, we can do that. And then we might as well, like I said, just solve your problems permanently and kill something. So we prevented any damage to a civilian building, but it's not really ideal because now this thing got hit and is on fire, which is a problem. So, fire means that at the start of the enemy turn, this thing will take 1 damage. And the only way to get rid of it is to repair, which spends your action. So it's not ideal. Okay, so here's one of the buffing units. This is a Blood Scion. You can see all other Vec, those are the bugs, heal 1 at the start of their turn. Nice thing is he'll never attack, he never does anything, but generally you want to take care of him because the buffs are usually pretty nasty. Alright, so what we can do is we could do this, which will push this guy into the water. The bugs are not, almost none of them can swim. Some of them are flying like this guy, so they can just hover over the water, but ones that can't fly, if they go in the water, they are generally dead. Unless they have a special modifier. So that's an easy way to kill off this bug. Okay. Then we can do this. No. We can do that. We can do this. Okay. So this is going to set up a nice little chain. This character is going to... it's not going to be a perfect chain. Yeah, because this guy's going to heal at the start of his turn, but I'll get to show off a couple different effects here. So there, he healed at the start of turn. Now his attack still went through, so he damaged his own buddy. That will happen quite often if you can maneuver it that way. The other thing you saw is these little arrows and the rubble there. The bugs come out of the ground. That's how they always pop up. And so you'll get to an advance warning on where they're going to pop up. And if there is a unit or a boulder or something like that on top of it, you'll actually block it, and they will not spawn. This is very useful because it's, you know, one less thing to worry about. The unit that is blocking it does take a damage, which is good and bad. It's bad, you know, for you, but oh well. It's really good if you can maneuver it so that the bugs block other bugs from coming in, because then they take damage and they prevent a spawn. It's very nice. But okay, so this guy is webbed. It's a pretty easy problem to solve. Okay, well, I mean, he'll take 0 damage, so that's fine. And then we're going to shoot this guy, so he'll attack the water there. And it would be preferable for me to block things off, but sometimes it doesn't work out. And we're just going to bombard that to kill the buff, which makes our life a little easier. Now, these things I talked about, those are the bonus objectives. Your objective every single match, almost without exception, is to avoid damage to the civilian grid, just in general, to stay alive, and to wait out 5 or so turns. Basically, this is the bug's last attack. This is their last action. After this, the match is over. And, you know, if we're still alive, the power grid is still up, we win. So, this guy's attacking this, but there's no webbing, so we can just move out of the way. That's no problem. We can do that, so he'll hit him, but that doesn't really matter. That goes out into the ocean. This, we can just kill him. And then this, we can just kill him. So, you know, we didn't kill everything. That's... most of the time, I don't kill everything. But as long as your power grid is all good and you all survived, it's a victory. You know, hopefully you pulled off some bonus objectives because those are really handy. But there you have it. You get XP. You can see how many civilians you protected, although it's, you know, there's always 1,000 on the map. So, we got the power thing, so our power grid went up, and we also got one of these stars. Is your reputation for the island. Once you've completed an island, you do the final mission on the island, you'll get a chance to spend your stars on different sort of stuff, as you'll see. So then you unlock a couple more things. We can go to the Marshall District. This is 1 star, and you can see defensive shields active. Means it's a really easy mission because a bunch of the civilian buildings have shields on them. And so it's going to be easy, but you only get 1 star for it. So we're going to go for one of these 2 stars. This will probably be easier. But if you do one of these, like, you only unlock new ones that are adjacent to the one you just finished. So if you do Ohmtown, we won't unlock any new missions, so we'll have to do one of these either way. So, okay, so this one has the addition of mines. If any unit ends their movement on one of these mines, they explode and they die. So you can use that to your advantage. And our bonus objectives are to block spawning 3 times, as well as protect this bar, so we can't let that be damaged. And also a new one popped up, protect the time pod. So on some missions, randomly, or yeah, it's random, this pod will crash land on some place on the map. You want this. So if you end your movement on it with one of your mechs, you collect it, so it's no, you've protected it. There's no more worry about it. If an enemy, I don't think they ever choose to move on to it. I don't think so. I've never seen it. But if they get pushed onto it, or it gets damaged by some AoE or something like that, you lose it. And it's done. So it's generally nice to pick it up if you can, but it's not like a requirement. Shit. It's not. Okay, good. That worked out. So they both took damage because I did 1 damage to this guy, and then I pushed him into his buddy. And when you push an enemy into an enemy, or whatever, a unit into a unit, they both take 1 damage. So since that guy only had 1 HP, it worked out perfectly. Then we'll just punch this guy and kill him. And now this guy doesn't really have much to do, so there's not much to say. It'd be better if I could block off a spawning, since that's objective. And you might want to go out of your way to do a bonus objective, but it's never worth it to like lose a power grid to do it. It's because it's like you're either you're losing a power grid to get a power grid, or you're losing a power grid to get a star, which you'll probably end up spending to bring back a power grid point anyway. So it's really just not worth it in that way. All right. That would work. Be better if we could kill this, but there's no way I can kill this. There's no way I can kill it. It's not gonna happen. And he drowned. That's the end of him. Yeah, I think we're gonna block a spawning. I mean, I could spend my turn doing 1 damage to this thing, which, yeah, maybe is a good idea. But I'm going out of my way to do a bonus objective. Okay. I think we will. So he'll block 1 there. That's good. Problem is, if I don't block another one, there's not going to be another opportunity. So I have to just... I have to throw away some actions just to do it, but that's okay. I think I don't want to do anything else, to be honest. We might have a little bit tricky of a final turn, and I might end up being upset with myself. Actually, no, we can do that, because he won't take any damage, so it's fine. And actually, I can just punch him. There you go, we killed some. That's smart. That's thinking smart. Alright, so we got that bonus objective. got 3 monsters on the board. For some reason, sometimes they just kill themselves. I think, like, the AI does not factor in environmental stuff. They just don't. They don't consider it. And so he was going to move there because he could attack me. That was just the smart thing to do, except if there was a deadly mine right there. Then that would be a very stupid thing to do. So yeah, I think they just don't factor it in. I've noticed that a few times now, and it's pretty odd, but that's the way it is. So there you go. That was perfect. Could not really do much better. We got a pot, got both bonus objectives, we all survived, no power grid loss. It's everything you want. Alright, so when you get a pod, you get to open the door, and you get... I think you always get a reactor core. The other content could either be an item of some type or another pilot. You can find... That's where you find all the pilots. So we got a prime spear. Some weapons and items are available to all mechs. Others, most of them, are only for a certain type. So this is for our sort of Pacific Rim mech. And it hits 2 tiles next to me in a line for 2 damage and pushes the second one. It's not bad. I mean, doing any sort of multi-targeting stuff is pretty good. Okay, so then you get a reactor core. This is how you upgrade your mech. So you have to install this into one of your mechs. You can undo it, although I think if you install it and then you do a mission, if you do a level, I don't think you can undo it then. But we equipped our prime spear, and you'll see it says not powered, because you have to provide power to all sorts of different little systems here. It's not like FTL to that degree, but there's a little bit of power management, I guess, for your upgrades. So we'll install it to Abe, because he's going to be needing it for the prime spear. And we have 1 power used and 1 power available. Now we can put this available power into +2 health. You can put it into move. And obviously you can see you can move it around however you want. Now we can also unequip Titan Fist and put them both into prime spear. Now you might just think, well, prime spear is just a better version of Titan Fist. Yeah, a lot of the time, sure, but imagine, you know, if in this little video that's playing, imagine if that second monster there in the back was a civilian building. Well, then that's not so good. Now, yeah, the Titan Fist in that situation is also not good, so you probably want to redirect, but I guess imagine if the space behind the second bug was a civilian building. The prime spear would be unusable, whereas in this situation with the Titan Fist, it would be good. Now, I'd rather have both of them, but for right now, I guess we'll stick with the prime spear and we'll see how it goes. So now we have 4 to choose from: Exhibits Archive, Antiquity Row, Marshall District, Hometown. Exhibits Archive has us destroying a dam and block spawning 3 times. Antiquity Row, take less than 3 damage. Protect the coal plant, and you can see tidal waves is an effect. I'm going to pick this one just because of tidal waves. So in this one, you have this these yellow outlines, and that shows you where the tides are coming in. So at the start of the enemy's turn, all of this will be turned into water tiles. This is generally more useful to you than harmful, because all of your mechs, most times your mechs are massive, and so they can survive going to, I think almost all your mechs. I don't know if I've encountered one that can't go in water, but you can't shoot. You can't do anything in water, so you don't want to be in it, but it doesn't mean you won't die, which is, you know, generally what they do. So, yeah. Generally, environmental shit like that is useful rather than harmful. Because you can just... Because this will happen before they get to do anything. Before they get to act and do their action. So... And like I said, they are not generally aware of this shit. So they'll post up shop and it'll look like, oh my god, this is so deadly. Until you remember that, oh yeah, they'll just die to water before they do anything. So that's nice. Alright, so we've got this guy, 1 health. He'll die pretty easily to anything. This guy can be pretty much ignored, although if we could knock him back, I'd be happy. This guy, 2 damage, I think. Okay. It's not. This is not a perfect turn. Okay. Well, it's fine. I won't take any damage because the armored, it's a really nice thing to have. But I am on fire. Armored does not protect against fire. So that'll be a little bit of a sting, but he's got 5 health. Alright, so like this guy. This guy posts up shop. He's going to, I'm going to shoot this building, but oh god. The water is coming. And he does not realize it. So it's really no concern. Got this guy 2 health, this guy 2 health. Now you see if we shoot him, we hit him for 1 damage. He gets pushed into the mountain, and he takes damage from that. And so he shall die. I'm going to block spawning and repair. If you repair on a tile that's on fire, we'll put out the fire. You'll be all happy. Because, I mean, you're giving up an action. Actions are very precious. So, it's a good thing they put out the fire. As the tides come in, you know, we have less and less space to move around with. But, again, the enemies are really stupid. Yeah. Not much to really say here. I think we're pretty much golden. Alrighty. That was an easy one. I generally like the ones that have the environmental effects because they give regular rewards, but they're usually easier. Alright, so we have one last one to do before we go to the final boss. I'm thinking we'll go with Destroy the Dam. That's a pretty fun one. I hate this one. I do not kill the volatile Vec. It's all about, like, every turn you have to reposition this asshole because he's going to constantly go after civilian buildings, and if you kill him, you fail the bonus objective. So it's just a big pain. We'll have fun with this one, though. So our bonus objective here is to destroy this dam, which should only have 2 health, so it's like 1 hit from the spear. Not a big problem at all. But we also want to block Vex spawning 3 times. Yeah. So he will die from blocking the spawn, but he will get a shot off. And I probably shouldn't have gone on the forest. That's a mistake. That's a misplay. Okay. We got plenty of spawns to block. That's fun. We also have to destroy the dam, which I'm thinking that's what Abe is going to do. That will put out the fire, which is nice. I think we're just going to go block and repair. And then the artillery... Oh, fuck. Here. Oh, shit, waterlock. I think there's nothing I can do about that. Well, we're going to reset turns. So, once per match, you can reset a turn back to the start. Which is very, very handy. You can only do it once. There is one time traveler that lets you do it twice per match, which is pretty good. But yeah. Okay, so we basically need to change our order of operations. There we go. Okay, that worked out. My bad. Okay, good. All right. There's a good chance we'll take a damage this turn because we are greatly outnumbered, and it's just sometimes pretty tricky to deal with that much shit. But actually, not. Only 2 of them are going after buildings, which is very nice. Although that doesn't work. Which means... Oh, gosh. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That won't work. Well, actually, yeah. Okay. Doesn't really matter. The more annoying problem... Well, no, the more annoying... Well, fuck. That was a misplay. I needed to move this guy here to block the spawn. But that doesn't really matter because it doesn't matter. I have no way to block this. This is why I wish I had another reset. No, I lied. I didn't know he only had 1 health. Okay. So this guy, I'll shoot him for 1. This will attack air. This guy never does anything. Problem is, I don't think we're gonna get the block objective. Because there's no spawn on the final turn. Oh well, you don't always get them all. Okay. Yeah. Well. You know, we got 1 bonus objective, and we didn't take any grid damage, so... Could be a lot worse. You always heal up any damage to your mechs after a mission, so there's no worries about that. If you do die... the pilot dies, but the mech does come back as you always have 3 unless you fail. It's just a lot better to have a pilot in there because you get the extra bonus abilities and stuff. Okay, so once there's only 3 left on an island, I believe, then basically they do the big final assault on the corporate headquarters, and so that's the final mission for an island. So our objectives here, our bonus objectives are to destroy the Hornet leader and protect the corporate tower. So this is the corporate tower. That's the Hornet leader. This is your boss, monster. Usually has a lot more health and does quite a bit of damage. Let's see here. It's flying. And it can stab 3 tiles in a row for 2 damage, which is pretty good. Fortunately for us, it's not really targeting anything of importance. Kill that guy pretty easily. Problem is, I think what I'll do, I'm just gonna take the damage with this guy. Just better that way. It would be better if I could have pushed this guy into it, but I just don't have enough movement. So we'll just let it be. Ice takes 1 damage, and then on another damage, it will melt, and it will become a water tile. So you can set up some nice splashes with that. Okay, the only thing that is a threat to a building is this guy. So we're gonna go ahead and move him. I think that works out a lot better for us. There's something I'd like to do, but there's just, again, it's a movement issue. I just don't have enough. So, yeah, I really don't have enough to do anything I want. Okay. If you hover over attack order, you can see in the order in which they attack. Oh shit, that killed him. That's a big fuck up on my part. I did not look at the damage properly, I guess. Oh, did this hit him, didn't it? Oh, fuck, I forgot to move. I'm talking. Alright, well, I'm a big fuck up, so that's nice. Okay. So aside from the 4 spawns coming, we have 2 things threatening. And we only have 2... We only have 2 mechs now. That really fucks me over. I can't... Okay, I have to do this. Yeah. I had to use my buddy. There's a big wall. Alright, so this turn, all I have to do is just prevent some damage, and we'll be peachy keen. Easier said than done. Does half of what I want. Reset. I did it on order that was not good. This needed to happen first. Oh, I see how I see how I wish I had another reset. I see where I fucked up, and I saw it as I did it. Apparently the Prime Spear, you can target this tile or this tile. If you target this one, you do 2 damage to this guy, and you push him into this, which does 1 damage to this guy. If you target this tile, you do 2 damage to both, and it's a lot freaking better. So, yeah, we're gonna get hit. I just cannot prevent it at this point. I can do a push, which will push this guy into the fire. He'll die at the start of his turn, which is good. But that just pushes this guy here, and he'll just hit this one. I mean, I guess that's better since that's a 2 thing, but I don't think he can do... I think he can only do 1 damage, so it doesn't matter either way. Now, there is a 15% chance. That's where the RNG comes in. Your grid defense percentage is the chance that upon damage, your building will just resist it. It's beyond clutch. Like, it's so fucking good when it happens. Oh. My God. I'm glad I explained it, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. Alright, so we lost Jill Waller. Damn. It is what it is. So her mech gets reverted to just an AI pilot. You lose this, which is a bummer. You can find pilots in the pods, and you can throw them in there and it'll be fine, but it always sucks. Alright, so now that we've completed an island, we get to spend our reputation on the island. See, we have 7 points, and here we go. So, on the right side, you can see you can purchase power grid numbers for 1 point each, which is where a lot of your reputation goes to if you're like me. But for right now, we actually ended an island with full power grid. Very good. So for every time you get a power grid point and you're at max, it just increases your defense, which is good, but there's better stuff to spend on. You can also purchase reactor cores for 3 each. This is probably where the majority of your reputation goes. And you can also purchase weapons and utility items. So we have cryo launcher. This is for our artillery thing. Freezes yourself and the target. There's a reason it's on sale. Gemini missiles, again for artillery, launch 2 missiles, damaging and pushing 2 targets. You can see you only get to use it once per battle. You can upgrade it to get an additional use, as well as increase the damage, but it also requires 2 power out the gate to use. It's very powerful, it's very good, but Vice Fist, this is for our Pacific Rim dude. You can grab a unit and throw them behind you for 1 damage. And it doesn't require any extra power, which is pretty nice. It's not horrible. And Wind Torrent. This is not a weapon per se, but you can use it once per battle unless you upgrade it to unlimited uses, which is pretty exciting. And it pushes all units in a single direction. Everything. Every unit that is movable. Which, yeah, could be really fucking good, if I'm gonna be honest. Sure. Why not? Aside from that, we'll snag a reactor core. Your reputation does not carry over to other islands, because that's how it is. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it does. I've never done it. Because I always just, fill up on shit. But, I guess we'll buy the Gemini missiles. That could be fun. So we go over here. We equip our Wind Torrent. We need some power for that. And we have this here. We need some power for that. So now it's a question of, well, we have one reactor core. Where does the power go? Probably to the wind torrent, since we can just use it right away. But yeah, we're going to be hunting for reactor cores. And then you move on to another island. That's it for this video. But after you do a second island, you have the option of doing the final battle. The final battle's difficulty is based on how many islands you've cleared. So, you know, you're just as good after completing the second island as you are after completing all 4. It's just you can get a higher score, and, you know, you can unlock more stuff, do more achievements, blah, blah, blah. I usually try to go for all 4 islands, but I have not yet beaten the game, so... You know, the game is $15 right now, and it's just really, really good. Like, I didn't really get into FTL, there just seemed to be too much going on, but this is such, like, a self-contained, like, just short matches, really just interesting puzzle strategy stuff going on. You got all these different mechs and abilities and combinations and things like that. It's just really well put together and really good for such a cheap price. So I really recommend it. It's great stuff. I'm going to keep playing right now. But my name is Mangg. Any watching has been Into the Breach. I'll see you fine folks around.